Hello, everyone, and welcome to DBF1. We've got a bit of a different situation for you tonight on Tuesday here at 9 p.m. in the UK. We have got the second match of the Europe versus Brazil epic showdown. After last week's performance in Britain around Silverstone, the Brazilians took a healthy lead. They're leading 84 to 17. So Europe have got a mountain to climb here tonight. We've got a couple of substitutions for each side coming up into the race. We've got 18 minutes to go in this short qualifying session, followed by 29 laps around Qatar. This was the Brazilians' track selection. We picked Silverstone last week. It was a pretty poor week from Europe, a pretty poor performances, and that led to Brazil taking a healthy lead, 84 to 17. So Europe to win, they need 8 finishers in the top 10, and Brazil have to finish 4th and 8th, no better than that, otherwise Brazil will take the win. The Brazilians looked quick last week from what we've seen of them, but can Europe mount a challenge, come back? Can they get the score respectable in all terms? We'll have to wait and see. I think the Brazilians are out early on their track. We'll get a quick look of the Brazilian livery, the beautiful livery that we've seen last week, and we'll have a look at the Europeans in a few moments. But the Brazils have updated their livery from last week, and it's looking absolutely stunning again from the Brazilians, and we'll see who will lead the way from them. They had two in the top two last week, a 1-2 for them. And then they had everyone else in the top 10. Bar Jengaboy and Lewis Craig, Khan, Casper, Jessica Ball, Alistair Bain mount a challenge. Jessica Ball, one of the substitutes for Europe. She's replacing myself as I take place in the commentary box. So we'll get the streams sent to both teams and put out on the Twitter, and then we'll focus on the laps for qualifying. Obviously, everyone is in a team, the 10 teams split. So it doesn't matter if Lewis wins or Casper wins for Europe, it's a win for Europe in the end. Same goes for the Brazilians. But yeah, we'll get the stream up on the Twitter, and we've sent it to both clubs, and we'll get it sent to the Twitter, and we will get this stream underway. So it's the first lap of the day from Ayrton. We'll see what he can do. The Brazilians running first and second. I think that's Lewis Craig just behind, beginning his lap. Lewis Craig was predicting that he'll have a good session tonight. We're on board with Ayrton and see what he can do through the first couple of corners now, and it's very smooth from the Brazilian driver. He'll brake as late as he possibly can and swoop the car through the double right-hander, number 41 on his engine cover, looking pretty clean indeed through the first sector. Into 6th gear, all the way down to 4th. A bit of wheel spin at the front of the car there that didn't allow him to get fully turned in, but it's looking clean. Other than that wee mistake, a little lock up on the front right, and it's the braking zones seem to be a struggle for Ayrton, and we'll see if that will translate into the Grand Prix. Maybe pushing the limits in this qualifying lap is what's making the front end of that car very, very hard to manage. He was off circuit there, but managed to keep it just between the white lines and keep the lap valid. And we'll see, this might not be the quickest of his night, but it's been a smooth lap, bar 2 or 3 corners for the Brazilian driver. Run up to the line now, the first lap of the night. It's a 21-2, pretty quick indeed from Ayrton, and we'll see who can mount a challenge to that. I think Lewis Craig was the first of the European runners. As you see, Lewis Craig, a 22.6, 1.4 off, and we know Lewis can be quicker than that, so maybe not the fastest lap from Lewis Craig. As you see, the European livery there, absolutely stunning on Lewis Craig's car. Beautiful indeed. Casper now. A couple of European drivers and Brazilians up ahead, 23.4 and 22.5 for Leo, and it's now Casper getting a nice toe off the European car ahead there, and that is a 21.7. That puts him on the front row of the grid, Casper, and that is just what we needed. Scottish Goat, a 21.3. And Owen Wyatt, there you go, one of the substitutes for Europe tonight, 21.7 as well, on par with Casper. Jess Ball with a 22.2, not getting the luxury of the toe. I think some Brazilians are finishing their laps as well. What can he goes pole position him? Zeffo, 21.1, what a lap that is. 1/10 quicker than his teammate and 5/10 quicker than the nearest challenger from Europe. I think Acorn's on a lap. Is Alistair Bain on a lap? Yes, I think no, Darky was on a lap. 21.4 from Darky is the quickest European runner of the night. That is the standard we expect from Darky. Very quick driver, most pole positions in dive bomb history. 14 to his name. The only other man on double-digit poles in dive bomb is this man, Alistair Bain, the Scotsman, part of Team Europe. Was unlucky, had good pace in Silverstone, but disconnections meant that he wasn't able to get a good result. He's got a different livery compared to Lewis Craig, but it's just as beautiful in the blue and gold. What will Alistair Bain's time be? 7th place for him, 22 flat. Jenga Boy just beginning his lap. I think some Brazilians are finishing theirs as well. They're coming around the final corner now. What will it be for Sam? Only 14th fastest. I think Ortega is just finishing his lap, getting a bit of turbulent air from his teammate ahead, but will turn to the toe. He's actually invalidated, so his lap isn't going to matter. I think Jenga Boy now is the only person on a lap that matters. Everyone else is coming back into the pits, and it's purple through Sector 1 for Jenga Boy. One of the quickest drivers in DBF1, what could have been his championship in Season 6 if he was there for the whole season. But we'll see now, what can he do in the wonderful blue and gold. Looking very smooth indeed. A little bit of a lock-up there on the rears, but it's not affecting him too badly. Using the battery now, he'll swoop through the double right-hander. Got to keep it between the white lines, and he's flat out through this whole section. Just confidence in the car from Jenga Boy, and is looking very quick indeed this lap. Is it enough though for pole position? Will that lock-up on the rear left cost him the opportunity at pole, or will he stick it on the front row of the grid for Team Europe? It's Jenga Boy, one of the quickest drivers we've got in Team Europe tonight, only 5th fastest, 21.7. And that might be it for the first load of runs. I think Alex is actually on a lap. I think he was purple through Sector 1 as well, according to the timesheets. Fairly quick last week, Alex. Got a good result for the Brazils. And they were able to take that 84 to 17 lead. So Europe need 8 in the top 10. Brazil just need 3 drivers in the top 10 tonight, and they will pick up the win here. Oh, and it's purple through Sector 2 as well. This lap has just looked perfect from Alex. We'll see. Can Alex 54 finish this off and stick it on the front row and make it a Brazilian 1-2-3? Round the final corner he'll come. He'll get DRS for a bit of an advantage. He's got plenty of battery to use as well. It's only 9th fastest there, so struggling in that final sector. Maybe the timesheets are lying to me on who is the quickest runner. I think Rolo on a lap now, only driver. I think Casper might be on a lap here. He's actually saving that battery, so surely not. We'll stick with Rolo and see what he's doing. And that lap is way off circuit. And he might be yeah, he's saving the battery now. Acorn on a lap, on an out lap. He is now. Deck, 2-time dive bomb race winner. And he's another one of the 4 substitutes in tonight to help Europe try and claw back the deficit that they have. And he is the next person to start a lap. And then you've got Lewis Craig, I think, is on a lap as well. And then Darky and your pole sitter at the moment. Zeffo on pole, 21.1. But we'll see now. It's all about Deck. This is his lap. He hasn't set a lap in the session tonight. He's got just under 9 minutes until the end of qualifying. Is it going to be the lap that he needs? Car number 71 that we've known for a long time now and have come to love. DB2 champion last season. It's a 30.5 through Sector 1. Not setting the world alight, but it would be enough to stick him in the top 10 if he can get similar pace throughout the final 2 sectors of his lap. He's got cars up ahead that shouldn't affect him too much, and if they do, hopefully will move out of the way fast. I think Lewis will set a lap before Acorn gets to the end, 22.6. We expect Lewis to go a bit quicker than that. Look at this from Acorn, it's looking very smooth. Not quite as put together as Jenga Boys, but it's looking fairly quick indeed. Might struggle with turbulent air off the Brazil car ahead. The Brazilian moves out the way though nicely. Round the final corner now Acorn goes, and this is his first and possibly only lap in the qualifying session. He'll open up the DRS, only 14th fastest, and he gets out of the way, and Lewis only improved by 2/10 of a second. So not the time he would like. Jess Ball not improving either. She's coming into the pits. Is Alistair Bain improving? 2.5 times from the season 3 dive bomb champion on F123 now. Can Alistair get a lap here that sticks him into contention? Owen Watt has just improved as well. 21.3. Fantastic from Owen there. Looking very quick is Owen Wyatt in the Europe car. We'll stick with Alistair throughout his lap, and Alistair's actually invalidated there, so we won't stick with him. Looks like Ortega's just sticking up into 6th place. Fantastic lap from him. Darky, 1.5 tenths up here through sector 1 and 2. Darky, someone we know has the qualifying pace, but needs to get the race pace together. Keep it between the white lines and just keep focusing until the end. Darky now round that final corner. Has he got a toe available to him? Not quite. It might help him out just a little bit. The slipstream opens up the DRS. Only 5th fastest improvement, but not in position. Zepho, another quicker lap. Only by a couple of thousandths of a second, but improvement for him. Looks like Arthur's just sticking up into 6th place as well. 21.4. Ferra improving? No, 3/10 down. Leo, 2.5 tenths up for Leo, but he's not set a quick lap originally. So we'll stick with him and see what he can do. Casper on an out lap, someone you'd expect to mount for pole. 21.2, so he got fairly close on his previous lap. Found 5/10. We know he can get into the 20s. He's just begun his lap, so we'll catch the end of Casper's. Ferra did improve to 11th place. And yeah, Leo's lost a fair bit of time through the second sector. I think it's Hijab just behind him, who's the only driver other than Rolo not to set a lap time. Leo trying to mount a challenge to Scottish Goat, who we know is better than a 23-1. J.O. Mac 10, one of the best drivers Dive Bomb have to offer that's not won a race. Yeah, 2.5 times improvement, but not enough for any positions. And here comes Hijab now, round the final corner. Hijab will go. Running Valtteri Bottas is 77. He won't be able to use that when the update comes on the game. Hijab now 10th. Quick lap from Hijab. Is anyone else close to completing a lap? Casper has invalidated, and is that him out of qualifying now? Is that the best he'll do? Hijab's just set his lap. Is Scottish Goat on a lap? Yeah, he's 1/10 up through sector 2. He needs to find some improvement here. The lower half of the DBF1 Europe team are struggling at the moment. We've got some guys up front, but some drivers, Lewis, Acorn, Jess, Scottish Goat, you'd imagine they'd be higher up the order. They're just struggling for pace at the moment. Round the final corner to go. He's got no battery to use to his advantage. Only 17th for Scottish Goat. Not the improvement he'd be looking for. Rolo has just stuck it on to the second row of the grid, and that is a 21.2. With 4 minutes left in qualifying. What a lap that is, and the Brazilians 1, 2 and 3 doing what they need to do to win tonight's race and tonight's event. You got Casper coming into the pits, Owen returning to the pits, Darky. I think Jenga Boy is on a lap here. This probably, if he doesn't come into the pits, will be his last run, and he's invalidated, so you think he'll come into the pits and get a fresh set of boots on and go again. Alex, it is Alex on a lap here, running medium and on soft compound of tyres. We'll stick with Alex and see what he can do. Down in 14th place. A driver after last week's performance should expect to be in the 21s minimum tonight here around Qatar, around the track that his nation, his team have selected. They'll not be wanting a repeat of Europe's selection last week. Europe had an absolute nightmare. Only 2 in the top 10. Only 2 scoring points. Jenga Boy picked up 3rd place. Lewis Craig picked up 9th, which is why there's such an uphill mountain to climb. The Brazilians managed the race well, though. They worked well as a team. obviously the Brazilians have the advantage. Oh, and Alex has invalidated his lap there. The Brazilians have the advantage of they've had a race together before. Last week was the first ever race that the European team have done. And on paper, the Europe squad are a lot quicker than they were last week, but it's Ortega now in 8th place, 21.597 on his final run of the qualifying session here. 2.5 minutes to go now, so it's your final warning, drivers. Get out on track and get a lap set, and Ortega won't, because that is him out of qualifying, and he'll be no better than 8th place. 8th place is the quickest he will go. Now the man in second, Ayrton, the Brazilian name with that name, Ayrton Senna, famously, can he find a lap time that Ayrton Senna would be proud of? He'll open the DRS, he's got 18 kilometres an hour down the straight, extra time, he's got teammates coming out ahead that he'll need to avoid through the first sector. We're on board though, and what can he do through sector 1? He's got a teammate up ahead giving him turbulent air, and you can see it's just affecting the car. The turbulent air around this track might just be the downfall of the tyre. We're expecting a one-stop race, mediums to hards or hards to mediums. Ayrton struggled through turns 2, 3 there, but it's been perfect through 4, 5 and 6. Brake late as you possibly can, finding time, but maybe not as much time as he would have liked. He's got so many teammates up ahead of him here that he just needs to avoid and get out of his way. Number 41, he's got to find 1.5 tenths to stick it on pole, but if he can stick it on the front row with a Brazilian alongside, he won't be too fussed about that. It's all about being ahead of the Europeans for this driver. And he'll get now flat out through the triple right-hander. It's purple through sector 2, and it's enough for pole position if his teammate isn't finding time. Oh, wonderful there from Ayrton round that section of corner, and that is just absolutely perfect through the final few corners. Now this is the run up to the line. He's got a European car up ahead that might give him a tow, and he's invalidated at the final corner. No improvement for Ayrton. It's Casper now up next, and he's finding 4.5 tenths of a second. Is this enough? Is this the lap that sticks Casper on pole position here? Oh no, he's not finding the time through sector 1. I was lied to by the timing sheet. Ortega out, Ayrton out, they're not improving. Casper now, probably the best opportunity that Europe have at pole position, and he's struggling through the second sector. Drivers up ahead of him in the Brazil car, and Europe maybe just starting their laps now. Yeah, there's Brazilian off. I think that's Ortega and Ayrton. Is Owen further? Yeah, I think Owen is further round. No, he's not. Is Casper the furthest round? Yeah, he's lost so much time. There's a couple of Europeans on the start-finish straight. What is their lap times going to be? Yeah, Casper's in. He's not improving. Darky's fine. Is Jenga Boy finding time? Jenga Boy is out as well. Alistair Bain, is it up to him now? Through the second sector he goes. The Europeans struggling here late in qualifying. So are the Brazilians as well, though. Alistair Bain, 4.5 tenths of improvement. He needs to find about another 4 tenths here in the final sector to stick it on pole. Zafo again, 20.9. He's into the 20s there. And he's looked the fastest man throughout the whole session. And he's not let the team down. He's on the only driver under the 21 mark. Alistair Bain now, what can he do? 8th fastest for him. Darky's not finding the time. Is anyone finding time? No. Everyone here is done. That is your qualifying. Yeah, that's it. Zafo's on pole. Owen Watt on the front row of the grid, by the way. What a lap there at the end to find 2.5 tenths improvement. Showing Europe how it's done. The late minute substitute call from Baza. What a lap time that is. And I believe he's the commentator for the other league I race in, Jacko Car. And for someone that commentates, get him in the league. What a lap that is from Owen Wyatt. Fantastic to mount a challenge to Team Brazil there from the European driver, and he's got a wonderful livery sponsorship as well. It's Zafo on pole, Owen Wyatt on the front row with him. It's Ayrton and Rollo on the second row of the grid. Then you have Casper Klein in 5th place. This is setting up to be a wonderful end to this epic showdown. It's not been very epic after last week. It was the Brazilians lead the way 84-17. We need a massive night here from Europe to mount a challenge and win this or make the score respectable. It's Zeo on pole with Owen Wyatt in 2nd place. Ayrton and Rollo 3rd and 4th. Casper Klein and Darky 5th and 6th. Arthur 7th with Alistair Bain managing to get 8th place. Ortega 9th. It's Leo in 10th. Jenga Boy 11th. Hijab in 12th. Lewis Craig 13th. Ferra in 14th. Alex 15th. Jeff dropped down to 16th at the end there. The other Leo 17th, Scottish Gold 18th, Sam is in 19th, which leaves Deck Acorn down in last place. 29 laps coming your way though in a few moments. Formation lap enabled. This is it though. If Europe have any opportunity at winning here tonight, they need some fantastic results from drivers. They need a massive result. So the top 10 normal Formula 1 points scored. We had Jenga Boy in 3rd last week. We had Lewis Craig in 9th. The Brazilians only need 3 drivers inside the top 10 to claim victory here tonight. We need a massive performance from Team Europe to win this or make the score respectable. 8 in the top 10 with no one finishing higher than 4th and 8th for Brazil. That is the max they can score tonight. Or it is good night Vienna for Team Europe. The drivers just be getting their setups ready and strategies and fuel loads in order before we get going. And we're on the grid now for the formation lap. As Zafo gets us away. And this might be a bit dramatic. Some of the Brazilians overtaking ahead. Team Europe should respect the formation. Otherwise, they'll get slap bottoms in the Discord later on. Zafo looked the fastest man throughout the session, got provisional pole at the beginning of the session and never lost it once. He was the only driver in the 20s, everyone else in the 21 or the 22s. And we'll get the tyre compounds up straight away. So no softs, that was to be expected. You've got everyone on the mediums except Rollo, Darky, Arthur, Ortega, Lewis Craig and Ferra. So Lewis Craig and Darky choosing to go on the alternate strategy for Europe. Everyone else running the kind of standard medium to hard. Well, that's kind of understandable with the chance of safety cars. And obviously red flag should anything dramatic happen. The qualifying session is a bit more split than it was last week. The Brazilians were kind of the top 6 bar Casper, and then the rest of the field was kind of Europe after that. But it seems to be a bit more equal. Obviously, you got the 3 of the top 4 are Brazilians, but Owen Wyatt up there as well. Casper Darky behind with Arthur there, and then you got Alistair Bain, a couple of Brazilians, Jenga Boy, Hijab, and Lewis. It's pretty equaled out. Even at the back, Jess, Leo, Scottish Goat, Salmon, and Acorn, Alex and Ferra there as well. So it's pretty equal qualifying. The only driver that kind of looked untouchable was Zefo out front. And I do apologise to any of the Brazilians in the chat or that watch the stream later on if I butcher some of the pronunciations or how to spell out the names. I will do the best I can. With a couple of drivers on the grid now. Don't want to get disqualified, especially if you're running that hard compound. You do not want the tyres to be freezing cold, and Darky has got himself disqualified there, so has Jenga Boy. Darky on the hards, important for the likes of Lewis Craig and co, that they get on to the grid easy enough with the hard compounds. You do not want to ruin the tyres. A fair few disqualifications. You can see we don't run the formation lap match here. Beautiful shot there, though, on the grid. And we have 4 and 5 lights here at Qatar. Europe versus Brazil, we're underway. And Ayrton's not gone off well there, but Casper Klein has. And he's already up into the top 3. Owen Wyatt not able to mount a challenge off the line to Zafo. Couple of Brazilians lagging as well in the background. The drivers just need to get through the first lap. Okay, Darky battling away. Jenga Boy's up a place as well. Alistair up into 7th and 6th place as well. Great start from Alistair Bain. Darky has dropped all the way to 20th place on the hard compounds. Needs to keep going though. We need Darky to do well. He needs to get back underway, and drivers swapping places left and right. Lewis Craig's dropped a couple of places there. Alistair Bain already up into 6th place. 5th place, sorry. Fantastic there. Hijab already up into 6th as well. Wonderful start from Team Europe there outside of Darky. Lewis Craig and Jess have dropped down to the back of the order. And as the race will settle down, Europe need to get into the groove here at the back especially. Good start from Owen, and Darky is out of the session there. He's retired at turn 7. His cars kept going. That's disappointing. This means that we need 9 of our 10 to finish in the top. We need 8 of our 9, sorry. So Zeffel leads the way 1 second already to Owen Wyatt. Then you've got Casper in the background there. You've got Rollo on the hard compound, but Alistair chasing him down. Hijab as well. Ayrton in 7th. Bad start for him, but seems to be okay now. Arthur, then Leo, then Jenga Boy in 10th with Ferra behind. Scottish Goat, Ortega, Alex, Leo and Sam battling away. That will just be synchronised swimming from them. And then you've got Acorn, Jess and Lewis Craig in the pits early doors. So that's going to be a disaster for Lewis, who's on the hards, and that'll be a front wing change. You'd imagine that's the only reason you'd stop that early. And then how long did Team Europe leave this now? Owen Wyatt and Casper. How long do they leave this before they swap? You'd imagine Casper will be let go fairly quickly to go mount a challenge to Zafel. If Europe have any opportunity at winning here tonight, they need a race win and 2nd place, and Casper is probably the best opportunity Team Europe have. But as you say, if Owen can get back in the DRS, there's no real reason to change that position yet. But at the 1.1 gap, if they start to lose more time, you'd imagine this place is going to swap positions. Especially with Rollo being in the DRS. Alistair not in the DRS range of Rollo ahead, but the tyre deficit that he will have at this phase of the race, you'd imagine, will allow Alistair to gain. Hijab as well, doing a fantastic job. Poor qualifying from Hijab, but he's got up the order fairly quickly. Up in 6th place. Ortega and Scottish Goat battling behind. And is this the time now where Europe make the swap? DRS for Casper Klein up into 2nd place. And he will go chase now the Brazilian leader Zeffo. So he is Europe's front runner. Casper now, we need him to go win the race. Rollo is catching, so is Alistair. Jenga Boy and Ferra battling away there, and Jenga managing to hang on at the moment as Ferra dives it down the inside, forces Jenga Boy off into the gravel there. That was naughty from the Brazilian, drops him down 2 places. He manages to hang on, and he gives up a penalty there, which is pretty poor from the game after being forced off like that. Not the cleanest of driving from a couple of Brazilians in the midfield. Casper's dropped almost a second to Zeffo, and Owen has dropped the second to Casper, but he's in a good position here. Alistair Bain in 5th. Hijab in 6th. They're doing a fantastic job at the moment, closing up to Rollo on the hards, who has lost the advantage of DRS here on lap number 3. Pretty even split in the top 10. Top 5, should I say, more likely. The Brazilians taking up a few of the places inside the top 10 at the back end of it. Scottish Colt and Sam are battling away for position, and Alistair has actually passed now Rollo. So Europe have 3 in the top 4, and this is what they needed last week, and then maybe the performances last week. Acorn and Scottish Colt battling away, and Jenga Boy's picked up another time penalty there. Disappointing. There's the man that finished 3rd and gave Europe a bit of hope last week, has him sort of lost his way this week. And it just needs to keep going here. He's getting a bit frustrated and got some wing damage. There's some bit of naughty driving. We've seen a couple of overtakes now that the Brazilians have made, even on each other here. It's not been the cleanest from Team Brazil. Unlike last week where it was pretty clean throughout the whole night. It's been a bit of a mess from them in the midfield tonight, and there might be some comments made later on. But Acorn, Jess and Scottish Goat now are starting to catch up to that pack. Acorn's actually made a move there on Sam for 13th place. And Acorn, who started 20th, up 7 positions, doing a fantastic job. Lewis, 27's adrift now of anyone else. And you'd imagine Lewis will be wanting a safety car. Going to the end would be a big struggle as Jess is passed by Ortega. But Ortega runs off the road. And that might allow Jessica Ball, and she's forced off there as well. Scottish Goat got back ahead, and Jessica Ball did get ahead, but there was some fairly unconvincing driving there. Hijab just got passed by Ayrton, might just get passed by Arthur as well. No, lovely clean defence there. That is how you defend a position from Team Europe. That was a tutorial there. Wonderful defending from Hijab. Left the room, didn't force anyone off the circuit. And they're losing a bit of time now as Casper clawing in to Zepho ahead. 6/10 of the gap, both on medium compound rubber. Owen not losing a bit of time, but it's not concerning. And Alistair's just starting to claw in that gap now that was there. And can Hijab get back past Ayrton? He might be able to close up as well. And Lewis will be fairly disappointed being down there, but he's just got to keep going now. And just kind of pray for a safety car. And with the way the Brazilians are driving tonight, you'd imagine there will be some. And we'll try to take off our blue and gold tinted glasses here during the race. But some of the driving in the midfield, it's been not towards the back. It's been okay, and towards the front, it's been excellent. But that midfield battle was just a bit questionable. Jenga Boy was kind of bullied there as well. And if he didn't kind of yield, he would have been out of the session, and it was kind of unfair. And comments will be made later on, and we'll see. But it's all about the lead of the Grand Prix now. For the first time, can Europe take the lead in one of the sessions in the epic showdown between Brazil and Brazil? Not yet, as Alistair's been repassed by Rolo there. The DRS and battery pack in his car have helped him get back ahead. He's ran off the road though, which might allow Alistair back up the inside. Jenga Boy is battling the second of the two Leos for Brazil, and that has allowed Acorn ahead as well. Jason Scottish Goat need to try and close back up. Acorn and Jenga Boy have swapped places. Acorn got good pace, and that was some synchronised swimming from Jenga Boy. So maybe here, this is with the damage, going to try and do some Sergio Perez 2021 games and hold up the Brazilians that are looking to get into the top 10. Obviously, Europe at the moment are not doing enough to win over the two legs. Europe obviously have a confirmed fixture next month against Continent America. And oh, what a move that will be from Leo and Jenga Boy there. The damage may be helping him on Jenga Boy's car. Jenga Boy going to do the switchback and try to get back past. But that was a wonderful move from Leo, and it was an even excellent move from Jenga Boy. And overtake happened off the road there, and there's just so much carbon fibre getting thrown onto the track. The debris is just crazy, and that means Leo had to yield the position because he made the move off track. But Sam is now looking to make a move past Jenga Boy. He's got a Brazilian on either side. It's a Brazil sandwich. There's contact, massive contact, and I think Scottish Goat got damage. He peels into the pits. Jessica Ball looking to make a move as well down the inside. Jenga Boy trying to get past Leo as well. They both do. Well, some of the driving is just falling away here in the early part of the first stint. And I think the best thing Leo or Jenga Boy can do is one of them come into the pits. Jenga Boy's gotten ahead now, but yeah, I think one of the best thing is one comes into the pits and one stays out. And Europe's chances fading here as the blows start to fall. The early rounds where they weren't able to hang on with the punches and power of Brazil are starting to show here. And even though you've got Casper, Owen doing a fantastic job, Hijab and Alistair Bain all in the top 10. It's not enough. Acorn is close to being in the top 10. Jess Ball has found her feet as well in this race. Jenga Boy, 9 seconds now of penalties, isn't going to be anywhere near the top 10 as Ayrton now passes out. Alistair's actually in the wall. Oh, has he lost the rear end there? Has he been put in the wall, lost the rear end? Disappointing. He's dropped down a few places now. And yeah, the early blows have just made this mountain too big of a hill. We'll see how respectable Brazil can get the score. Hijab has defended like crazy in 6th place, and he's doing everything he can for Team Europe here to get the challenging pack in as well. Alistair now 6.1 behind. He's not got any damage, thankfully. Just needs to keep going and find some pace and get him back up. Acorn kind of in time trial at the moment, 6.7 behind. Jess is battling away with Sam for 12th. And then the gap with Lewis and Jenga Boy and Scott is just so big now. Darky retiring early on as well has not helped anyone, and it's just not enough. Casper's doing his bit. He's going for the win here. He wants to pick up another win in his dive bomb career. As the top two begin lap number 9. Not close enough to make a move. Owen Wyatt is dropping now. The hards coming into their own, and this might be a move for the podium places. And the hard tyres just seem to be the better tyre to be on, and maybe we're starting to see that we're going to come into a 2-stop phase race. Are the mediums going to go long enough to get those hards strapped on and go to the end? And Owen now needs to be careful as the Hijab has actually dropped to 8th, so he's lost both positions to the Brazilians. As Ayrton picks up a time penalty, is right on the back of Owen Wyatt. You've got to respect it from Owen. Commentator of Jacko Card, called in at the last moment, and he's done wonders in qualifying, and he's had a fantastic race, you have to say, in terms of pace. And even if he does lose out a few places, all you can do is thank him for his service and how quick he has been. And he's doing his bit. All he needs to do is finish in the top 10, and that gives Europe hope. And at the moment, he's doing a dandy job. 4 attempts now the gap between Casper and Zeffo. Casper seems to be catching Zeffo through the technical parts of the track where the downforce seems to matter more. But the moment we get on to the start-finish straight where there's overtaking opportunity, there just seems to be too much drag. He'll open up the DRS. We're on board using his ERS deployment. Zeffo goes defensive. Makes him vulnerable into turns 2 and 3, but he's just got such a gap that it's not really anything Casper can do coming into turn 1. And even though the cars are so close together, he's not under any pressure on the start-finish straight, but he's under pressure in sector 1. Here goes Casper down the inside, looking and looking, and Zeffo left the room, but closed the door at the final moment. That is wonderful driving from the pair, and Casper knew not to make the move. Rollo's hards, and these two battling ahead seems to be giving him an opportunity at closing into the top 2. Casper is so quick through the technical section of the racetrack, and it's just the start-finish that lets him down. Saving the battery, uses it now for a bit of boost to hang on. And I think Casper is noticing now that the DRS and ERS is not enough on the start-finish to make a move. If he made a move through this part of the track, he's just going to get re-overtaken. Zeffo, first in every minute of the qualifying. He's been first of every minute of every lap of this race. And Rollo is now within a second of these guys. And he, on the hard tyres, is quick. Casper in. Undercut for Casper Klein. So is Owen Wyatt. So a couple of pit stops for Team Europe as you see the golden suits running out into the pit lane now. Not in the same pit box, which is handy. On go the hard compounded tyres on lap 11 for Casper. You'd imagine it'll be the same for Owen. Indeed it is. So the top 5 now, all Brazilian drivers. Hijab the highest up for Europe. Alistair Bain has not lost has only lost really 2 places, and if he can find some form in the second stint when those worn tyres that aren't helped by a spin, he might be able to make a few places. Acorn in 10th, still to stop. Jess in 12th, still to stop. A couple of drivers with time penalties, which might help them. Just the beginning of that race and the drama at the beginning, sort of the middle way through the stint. Some of the driving was so questionable. It might affect these guys having a better chance at the race. But it's not the reason why Europe will lose tonight. The Brazilians earned it last week, and at the moment, a lot of them are earning their place out front as well. And it's 10 people, it's not only 2 in a team. 8 drivers doing a fantastic job, and Jenga Boy showing his struggles. Europe have another pit stopper in Hijab, so is Alistair Payne. So it's early pit stops now for Team Europe in comparison to Brazil. A couple of Brazilian stoppers early, a couple of forced stops from Europe early on as well. Those pit stops weren't tactical. Tell you what, Rolo on those hards is going to go a long way into this race to get the mediums to the end. He's got fantastic pace. Zeppel's untouched other than Casper, and Rolo is just all over. Rolo compressor, what a pace he's got in this second stint of the race. As Brazil are sailing off back to Rio de Janeiro in the sunset with the trophy. As it stands, it needs to be a major end to the Grand Prix to change that. And we'll see now, do any of the top 6 come into the pits here? Yeah, Zeffo is in to try cover off Casper. This is it now. This is it. You need to come out ahead of Zeffo to have any chance. As Ayrton, picks up a 10-second time penalty in the pit lane. This is it now for Brazil. They need a quick stop. The Brazilians in now, get him serviced. You've seen the marbles on top of that medium compound. They have just degraded so quick. Can the hards make it to the end there? Casper now. It needs to be an outlap from heaven from him. And he leads the epic showdown from Zeffo. Miles ahead is Casper. 3 seconds adrift now. Only 1 lap tyre deficit as well. So Casper leads. Owen Wyatt got back up onto P3. Net P3. Obviously Rolo's still to come in. You'd imagine these guys would overtake him with the undercut and he might catch up later on. Hijab came out ahead of Leo. Alistair's just outside the top 10 as well. With Arthur and Farah still to pit and Rolo up ahead. All 3 on the hard comp. So they're going a fair in this race. It's all about now, how long can those mediums last? Have the mediums lasted long enough for the hards to go to the end? These drivers have the data on the hards. We know in the second phase, the hards are so much quicker than the mediums. When they start to degrade, you've seen the marvels on Zeffo's car, and Zeffo's picked up a 3-second time penalty. The pressure getting to him with Owen Wyatt chasing now. Under a second, no time penalties, 3-second gap between Casper and Zeffo, and now Owen Wyatt, can he put the pressure on? And Team Europe out in front especially seem to be mounting a challenge. Hijab is closing down on Leo in 8th place as well. Team Europe are mounting a bit of a challenge here as Alistair now gets ahead of Leo, who's coming to the pits. The front 4 of Europe starting to pile on the pressure to the Brazilians, and can that mount a challenge for the likes of Acorn and Jess and Lewis Craig to get up? They need Scottish Goat as well to find pace and get into the top 10, because Jenga Boy isn't going to. We need 8 finishers of our 10. We've already got 1 retirement, and Jenga Boy, with 12 seconds of time penalties, has got no chance of being in the top 10. Oh, and Scottish Gold picks up a penalty there, pushing the car to the limit, trying to catch up, and that might just cost him. Zeffo starting to catch Casper now. He's found about 4 tenths that lap. Owen Wyatt not finding much more time. 2.3 now, the gap between first and second, P1 and P2. Owen Wyatt is chasing down. He's closing the gap around about a tenth a lap. And at the moment, it's just not enough. Is anyone close to making a move? Hijab is quite close, but not in striking distance. There you go, 6 tenths now. 2 tenths of time found for Owen through sector 1 there. Seems to be fairly quick as the Brazilians now starting to rack up the penalties also. Acorn, Lewis and Jess now promoted up to 11th, 12th and 13th, with Ortega coming into the pits once again. It's going to be difficult here, but it's not over until lap 29 is completed. And with only 4 in the top 10, another 4 needed, 3 just outside, although 16 seconds adrift of the top 10, a safety car could be the saving grace tonight, especially with some of the Brazilians up front having time penalties. A safety car right now would be perfect for the top 3. They would come in and out, and this is it. It's starting to pile up here. Casper struggling because Zeffo's all over the back of him. Fera has slowed down so much on his hard compounds. Hijab's picked up a time penalty. Zeffo now surely going to get past Casper. Can Casper get ahead though of Fera? Fera goes defensive. That made his teammate have to go off track. Casper now, can he defend the position from Zeffo? We're on board. They're wheel to wheel banging away, and Zeffo gets ahead of Casper. Double overtake, and now it's important Owen can get ahead as well. Not quite able to do so. Can Casper go round the outside of the double right-hander? That would be a big ask, and he's not able to do so. But he needs to stick with Zeffo, who has the time penalty here. Wonderful driving from the Ford to avoid any contact, and it was Ferro defending, but he did well, and it wasn't anything too cynical. Owen's right on the back now. Owen really needs to get this move, as Ferra is on extremely old hard compounded tyres, 16 lap old. With Ayrton with 13 seconds worth of penalties behind. Lewis has had to stop again, which kind of seals the fate of Europe there. We knew Lewis would pit on lap 1. Unfortunate damage is now out of the running of a good result, barring a safety car. And Jenga Boy picks up his 15th second worth of time penalties, which seals Brazil winning the Grand Prix over 2 races. Casper and Owen doing the best they can. Owen now needs to get past Ferra. He's got Ayrton all over the back of him as well. Owen now, this is a move he really needs to make. He goes to the left-hand side. He forces Ayrton to go down the inside. He'll have more room around the outside than Casper did previously, and that is wonderful from Owen Wyatt to take 5th place there. He'll have to defend. He does so from Ayrton. Can he hang on through the double right-hander here? He goes swooping round the inside, and Ayrton has to yield the place. Wonderful from Owen Wyatt, showing what he's got, and well, if we can get him involved in DBF1 on Wednesday nights, we'd be in for a fair treat. Casper hanging on. Just needs to stick within 3 seconds, and you'd imagine Casper will win. But even though the win, it won't be enough. Hijab down in 9th place. Doing what he can with Alistair Bain in 10th. Alistair's spin, it looked like a spin. Might not have been a spin, but it did look like he had spun at the final corner. And it's cost him any opportunity of a top 5 finish. And just when it looked all great for Europe at one phase of the race, it fell away. Darky DNFing on lap 1. Lewis Craig falling victim to some damage. And it's not been Jess or Jenga Boy Scottish Goats night. Jess and the Acorn have done well to find the places. but just not enough in the end. Got 12 laps to go here around Qatar. The field spread's starting to form, as you can see on the track map, but Casper keeping Zeffo honest, and he wants to win here, Casper. He likes a challenge, and obviously only racing in every even week of DBF1. And Baz asking how Darky's DNF. Lap 1 DNF for Darky, had some contact and was off the road after starting 6th place, and kind of looked like he gave up on the track, unfortunately. Casper, though, 6/10 behind. Race has sort of transitioned from Europe versus Brazil to Casper versus Zeffo for the win. We know now the Brazilians are going to take victory. And the second race has been a much better outing than the first race from Team Europe, but it's not enough to mount even a close challenge to them. And Europe do have a confirmed fixture for March coming February, coming up against America. So you will see Europe again in action. We'll have to wait and see who will fill out the roster, and maybe some roster reshuffling, just the poor performances and some unlucky performances. Obviously, the drama in the midfield didn't help. Casper, though, he's driven a good race. Been on par with Zeffo in the Grand Prix, not in qualifying. Did the undercut, got ahead, and it just didn't have the pace to stay ahead. Zeffo looks like an extremely quick driver. Rolo that did the alternate strategy. Hards to mediums is now on Alistair Bain's engine cover. You can imagine this move will be done sooner rather than later. Alistair on worn hards. He's done a good job, Alistair, barring his moment, and had some good pace at the beginning. And same as last week, the disconnections cost him last week, and maybe a wee bit of lapse in concentration this week has cost him. Not that it would have mattered anyway, his teammates aren't in a position to mount a challenge. And I think Jenga Boy is now another penalty away from being disqualified. And Owen Watt and Ayrton battling away through turns 1, turning into 2 and 3. It looks like Ayrton, even though with 13 seconds of time penalties, won't finish ahead of Owen. Gets the move done. Alistair was passed there by Rolo. Jess Ball and Acorn swapping places. Acorn with a penalty makes sense. 11 seconds though to Ferra, on fresh rubber Ferra as well. No chance of catching that. The possibility of a safety car is fading away. Oh, and there is a DNF. And is that a safety car? Doesn't look like it. Looks like everyone's still going as quick as usual. Yellow flags. Yeah, looks pretty clear. We're all good, nothing on the boards. So a DNF, 2 DNFs from Europe there, from Brazil. No sign of a safety car, both on the road. And that's just disappointment for Europe. That's what they needed for a safety car. Rolo sets the fastest lap, 22.8. Oh, and the 2 DNFs are just what Europe really needed. They really needed the safety car to come out there. That would have given them such a great opportunity. Just not to be as well. I wonder who would have had medium compound tyres to go to the end, or would softs have made it? The gradient right, I don't think it would have, of the medium. Scottish Goat is in the pits now. So 2 DNFs for Brazil there on lap 20, and looked like it was a glimmer of hope for a while, but it just sort of faded away. Hijab is 3.5 times off Leo for 5th place. Both have time penalties. We'll see though if Hijab can get the move done on the road. 4 out of the 8 in the top 10 required for Team Europe. Ayrton not in a position, he's in third, but not in a position where his third will matter. But Zeffo finishing in the top 3 finishes Europe off. Then you need Leo and Arthur to drop as well, and I don't think Alistair Bain's got the pace to quite catch them. Casper fading quickly in this Grand Prix now. Hijab with another 3-second penalty. Going deep with the turbulent air, you'd like to hope. And Europe now just doing their best to get this score as respectable as possible. Bit of an embarrassment last week. It's been fairly even at stages tonight, but it's just not been enough. The early damage in week 1 has cost us. And regroup and refocus ahead of the American battle. It'll be Team Europe versus America next month in February. Maybe some new blood and fresh recruits coming in for Team Europe. We'll have to wait and see. Owen Wyatt, I tell you what, if he's free, he'll be getting a seat 4th place, no penalties on debut. Fantastic from him. And it will be P3 come the end of the race. 13 seconds now. Here comes Hijab as a couple of Brazilians make the move on each other in the background. Hijab not able to make the move there either. And apologies if my mic is playing up. It's had a few tosses around from F1 games. If it's doing a bit of beatboxing or crackling, I do apologise. Brazilians right on the back of Hijab, who's right behind Leo. Hijab's done a fantastic job of keeping those 2 Brazilians behind. All race he's done it. Well, Brazilians, they faced off in Mexico a few weeks back before coming over to Europe to battle the Europeans, and they came out on top against the Mexicans. They look like they're going 2-0. Maybe that bit of experience facing the Mexicans helping them out to victory here versus the Europeans. Maybe the experience of the battle with Brazil will help Europe next month against America. All drive in Dive Bomb, all drive in plenty of leagues, but never had that sort of team factor where 10 drivers in one team matter. And well, they're closing up on Hijab now, and the 2 Brazilians looking to pounce. Here, down the inside, goes Rolo, and his teammate of Arthur will try to follow. Hijab tries to defend it, but he's not able to defend. Oh, and there's a bit of contact there from Hijab, and that forced Arthur off the road. And a bit naughty from Hijab there, but he did lose out to Hijab, and Casper Klein picked up a 3-second time penalty, which nullifies at Zeffo. So Zeffo now on the road for the win, and it looks like it's going to be him. So top 3 all with penalties. Owen Wyatt not lost enough time yet for the penalty to matter. But we'll have to wait and see. Alistair Bain in the top 10 now. 9th place. 4.5 behind Arthur. And then it's just big gaps through the rest of the field. Lewis Craig looking to make a move on Ortega, and he does. 2 stops for Lewis. He'll be disappointed with his M9. Not really his fault. Damage on lap 1, had to stop, and then it became a 2-stop race after that, and he'll just have to get the head down for Brazil tomorrow night in Dive Bomb F1. There goes Arthur. This time round on Hijab, plenty of racetrack available. Hijab goes very deep and it was a bit naughty again. Loses the position and I think Hijab has lost the head a wee bit and he just needs to coast home now until the end of the race and get towards the end and just finish. 4 in the top 10 this week, double what was on offer from Europe last week, and it's just faded away from us towards the end of this race. No embarrassment though. Did the boys proud, raced to the end. And there's always the possibility of a rematch. And I think there's a few, Jenga Boy, Jessica Ball, Lewis Craig, Scottish Scott will all be disappointed with where they finished tonight. Acorn probably won't be too disheartened after starting 20th and going on the one stop. It's done good to pick up 8 places. Yellow flag in the final sector. Doesn't look like it's for anything too seriously. Back to green conditions. Well, everyone's just so close on this start-finish straight. Arthur now might be making a move on Leo, his teammate. 6 for 7, swapping places. The Brazilians closest to making moves on each other, and it's just kind of synchronized swimming now. Acorn and Jess. Ortega's catching Jenga Boy at a pretty fast pace. Is Ortega able to make a move on Jenga Boy? Jenga Boy got his wing change, but it's not helped him out at all. Looks to go down. He's very late on the brakes. Locked up the right rear and really should be giving that place back, and don't think he's too interested in that, but Jenga Boy is closing the gap now. The Brazilian driver goes defensive and there's no room on the road as he goes very late himself, Jenga Boy, but manages to get the car stopped. And then probably the wise decision. Oh, down the inside he goes. Contact made. Jenga Boy gets ahead. And we've got 2.5 laps of racing to go now. It's been entertaining, to say the least. It might not have been much of a battle in terms of who's going to win overall, but the battles that we've had until recently, where it's kind of phased out with the tyre wear and the gap for the pit stops, it's been interesting to watch. Would have liked to have seen Darky stay on and see what he could do, and Lewis and Jess and maybe Jenga Boy, Scottish Goat especially, do a bit better. But I'm getting to the end and showing that they've got the commitment is what we need. It's been very, very difficult over the course of the 2 weeks, and there is another crash between Ortega and Jenga Boy, and not what you like to see. I think it's kind of crumbled at the back of the field. The top 10 have been fairly smooth and great to watch. Anyone outside of the top 10, it's been very, very, very dramatic. The contact not been fantastic to watch, and yeah, a few incidences that could have been avoided with some better standards of driving on both sides. Brazilians were fairly eager in the beginning of the race. Europe have sort of fallen standard-wise. Now that it's confirmed we're not going to win, the standards have kind of dropped on both sides. But yeah, Brazil have got a few matchups coming up. They're going to be part of Team America as they face Europe. So they'll have a couple of drivers that we need to face. Again, we'll probably see some familiar faces. Zeffo and Ayrton will probably be up there, Rolo and Arthur, you'd imagine. Europe will have to do some investing and see what they can do in terms of picking up a roster that can mount a challenge to America in the coming weeks. And it's just for fun. There's nothing at stake except pride. The Brazilians have been fantastic all night for the 2 nights, and they've been untouchable at Silverstone, and they've been very decent around Qatar as well. We've had some challengers. The Jab and Alistair did some decent jobs. Owen has been a nice surprise. Casper found the pace that he never had at Silverstone, and P2 is good for him, so sort of where we'd expect him to be as we're on the final lap now of the Grand Prix. The final time for the Europe versus Brazil epic showdown. And I tell you what, this man has been epic. Zeffo, I'm so sorry if I've been saying your name wrong all night. He led every minute of qualifying. He led every lap of the first stint until he came into the pits. He had 3 seconds plus a 3-second penalty to catch up to Casper. He did that. Casper got the penalty. He's practically extended his gap to 3 seconds anyway, regardless of the penalty. He's just been fantastic to watch and showing the true ability of his pace. And someone to watch out for in the future, you imagine. He'll be the first name on the team sheet for the American roster when it comes to Europe versus America. But in terms of Europe versus Brazil, he's going to come round, he's going to win at Qatar, and he's going to win it for his nation. Brazil win the showdown. Casper Klein is going to come home in second place. Ayrton is in third, but it's only going to be third for a matter of moments because Owen does come third, Rollo comes fourth, Arthur fifth, Leo sixth, Ayrton dropped all the way to seventh, Alistair Bain got eighth off Hijab in ninth, Ferra will come home in 10th place, and it's a big gap to Ferra and an even bigger gap to Jess Games. Ferra crosses the line in 10th, Jess now will cross in 11th. Acorman is 12th. Lewis Craig, he'll be disappointed with 13th, but he never got lapped. 2-stop, and not really his fault. But that is it for the epic showdown. Europe versus Brazil. Brazil picked up the win. Fantastic 2 weeks from them. Zeffo, fantastic drive. Europe did have a bit of a fight back, but not enough on the night. As a couple of drivers pick up their trophies for being in the race, and Zeffo picked up the win and won it for his nation. That is it, though. Brazil win over the 2 legs around Silverstone and Qatar. Congratulations to Team Brazil, and Europe will have to regroup, refocus, and go again for Europe versus America, and maybe in the future have a rematch against the Brazilians. But for the time being, it is the Brazilians that have the trophy, and they are the nation to beat. We will see you tomorrow for Dive Bomb F1. We've got Brazil coming your way, and then we've got the mystery race as well in race 2. But that is it for us. We will see you for Dive Bomb F1 for the next 8 weeks. We've got such a great season coming your way. CGH, the champion, has led the first 2 weeks of the season. No champion has ever led the championship after winning it. And he is looking to be the first champion to defend the crown in Dive Bomb F1. So we'll catch you tomorrow for that at 7:10 UK time on the channel, and we'll see you in the future on Tuesdays for some more epic showdowns. I've been Jack Craig, and we'll see you all in the future.